have to have some leverage of competency.
The sad part is I have no swag, dog.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hit that subscribe button because it's fun. I want to get into some mentions and also jump start some things because, I always joke and say, hey, hit that subscribe button so my kids could go to college. And a few people have put like question mark, like, what does he mean? Did he blow his money? No. So I have 529 funds for my kids. But this place that I'm going to is I'm going into a place where generational. So my kids. So when I say help my kids go to college, I'm talking about my grandkids. Because
Right.
my four kids, and my daughter, they're all taken care of. My 3 kids and my daughter, they're taken care of. Daughter just graduated from cosmetology school, got her license. She doing her own thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Boston's doing his thing at Liberty University. That's why I have Liberty and it says Boston on there. My son Peyton's getting his master's in account finance from UNC Chapel Hill. And Deuce, he's getting homeschooled by Angie. So all of that's taken care of. But once you donate now by hitting subscribe, that's a donation.
It's an investment.
It helps the 529 for them back there, the ones that are not born yet. Okay, and if you don't want it to hit subscribe, I pity the fool. Mr. T is not going to accept that.
Mr. T's staying power in pop culture is unrivaled.
Clutch.
Unrivaled. He had a hot 16 in the 80s, and everyone loves Mr. T still to this day. He had the A-Team, and that was kind of it. He just keeps getting these commercial checks year after year after year. I love it. I love it for him.
Our first guy that we're going to break down is Jermaine Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got to call out Bleacher Report because Bleacher Report has this young man, comps, and it goes into analytics, Doug Baldwin.
Okay.
Oh, yes, that stank look that you just presented is that's the nice face that we can present. Because when I first saw that,
you see this as disrespect to who? Both?
it's not disrespect. It goes to people are using analytics and numbers to put a guy somewhere and it doesn't even match.
Sure.
And so it's not disrespect. I'm gonna read this comment so you can follow along. Doug Baldwin does not separate and have the type of speed Jermaine Burton has. And Jermaine Burton does not have the yards after catch.
Right.
And the route running that Doug Baldwin has. But do you know why they put those two comps together? That individual, Jermaine and Doug together?
The only thing I can think of is average depth of target. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
Nope. I wish they were that smart.
Yeah, so then I have no idea. The same high school?
Body frame.
That's one way to look at it, no doubt. That's for sure.
What?
No, it's just like for football specifically, I can't think of anything less relevant.
That's why sometimes I dismiss on camera some of that. You were breaking down speed, velocity, body weight. I'm just throwing all the stuff in there, the what they use to calculate, or his height and size and his speed says this and that. Like some of that stuff I just don't, and I understand is based off information, right? Well, when this guy was this size, he did that. That's what it equated to. But these measurables don't ask, hey, do you love football? These measurables don't say, hey, how much coverage reading did you do in college? Do you understand why you're running? Do you know how you're running it? What kind of office were you in? Were you in a vertical office where they only wanted you to run, run, run? Or were you in an office that was levels, right? Or are you in Kyle Shanahan's office where it's levels, playmakers, and everybody plays a role? Or is it Miami? Speed, timing, just vertical push. And so that's the part where I try not to engage too much in the analytics, because you could get enough analytics to support whatever you're thinking. I mean, technology, AI, AL, AI, all the things. You can get enough information and poll for it to really take you in that direction and go, see, look at me. I know what I was talking about.
Yeah, for me, we were breaking down the combine, and so many people just get stuck historically on 40 time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
where I think that's a waste of time is just like not every 4.4 is the same.
No.
When we talked about Swole Bones, him running as fast as he did obviously looked different than other people, shorter and slighter, running a 4.4. That's where, to me, if we're going to talk about the combine, let's at least talk about it in a way that makes more sense, that is more projectable. And then outside of the combine, like you're saying, what's the rest of the picture? Because that's just one piece of the puzzle.
But some people just go to it automatically,
Sure.
right? And
I think some scouts do too. I think some lazy scouts who don't want to watch film rely on that too.
Oh, they sure do. That's why I'm not going to say anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Right. So here's what the person says. Steve needs to embrace some statistics and analytics that predict themselves. If you take him on the field success and experience and partners it with the modern day scout, it will be far better analytics. He somehow this puts being fairly young already have something against modern day methods and can't embrace them. You just use what what he sees as analytics, and that's not enough. I understand. I appreciate you saying that, because one, I want to clarify it. I'm not dismissing it. I, on camera, look at all the metrics, not just the metric that floats to 40 or the metric that floats to spend all night trying to have the fastest shuttle. Like if you accomplish, you have the fastest shuttle because it's a cool opportunity for you to be there all night trying to do it. Here's where the old head and the modern. So you spend all your time trying to make a record, but the person who got the record did it once or twice. You're doing it 8 times. So if you're doing it 8 times and they did it once or twice, just off rip, as an old head would say, that dog don't need to stretch before it get on your ass when it's lying on the porch. Do it. That dog don't say, hold up, let me do my calisthenics. Let me warm up my hammy. Let me do some butt kickers. Let me put it in the, what they say, let me put it in the atmosphere and no, that dog up on your ass real quick. That dog ain't putting nothing in the atmosphere. That dog said, let's go. He gonna give you one bark.
If you're lucky, yeah.
And you gonna go, oh, what was that? As soon as you turn around, it's here goes that dog.
And also, it's like, what's my role here? I didn't play in the NFL for 20 years. I'm not on the precipice of the Hall of Fame. No one cares what I have to say when it comes down to breaking down tape. That's what you're here for. I'm just here to add a little bit on the peripherals. That's all I'm doing. I
respect it, and I didn't want it to come across like I'm dismissing it. I'm not dismissing it. I'm just not putting. I'm not putting that much in my judging of the person. I'm not gonna say I don't go.
No.
Let me see. Let me see this. Let me see that. I will say when I watch film, I go, okay. I wonder how average depth per target. I wonder how he's doing on that. I wonder how is he doing in contested catches. I wonder this. I wonder that. I utilize that because what I'm seeing, you can see right. You can see a kid's bad game, and that's why it's called a bad game. That bad game doesn't turn into who they are, right? If you drop one pass or five passes, that doesn't mean that now for the rest of your career he can't catch. Now he can over time become inconsistent.
But that's also where it's like I've got both the guys we're talking about PFF pages pulled up right now. And for Burton specifically, I see 0 drops, so he's a bad example. But for other guys, if they have 3 drops, okay, what was the context? We just talked about Baker the other day where he had that catch going from the shadow into the sun. And I asked how difficult that is. Like, that's where it's all of it. Reading numbers off a page can only tell you so much. If that's how you're basing all of your opinions on anybody for any sport, outside of maybe baseball, you can learn a lot about baseball just by reading the numbers. But that's neither here nor there. That's not how football works at all. Especially coming out of college offenses, like we talked about last year with Jalen Hyatt coming out of Tennessee. Like we've talked about with every Baylor receiver from the last decade coming out of that offense. Like there's so much to it. You should be looking at the entire pie.
You have to. If you don't, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. All right. Jermaine Burton, number 3, Alabama, 6 feet tall, 192 pounds. I don't have his updated 40 time, but estimated 40 time was going to be 4.45. What was his 40 time at the combine?
He ran a 4.45.
Use the analytics there, people, so just wanted you to know. All right, two-time leader in receptions. Led the team with a career high 8 receiving touchdowns this year. 2001, 2021, and 2020 when he was at Georgia. Averaged 19 yards per catch in 2021. 3 touchdown passes in 10 games in 2020 at Georgia. Best games, Texas A&M, Chattanooga, Auburn. Worst games, USF, Arkansas, and Georgia. Where does he do his work? Mainly slot 295 times, out wide 846. Games played 50. 132 receptions, 2,376 yards, and 23 touchdowns in his career. 4 total drops, 0 drops last year, 29 first downs last year, 101 total. I don't have a comp for him because he's a speed guy. That's what I think. I think he's a speed guy. He's a vertical threat. The one thing taken away that I was shocked that I did not see a lot of is with his speed, he doesn't have a lot of production yards after the catch.
Right.
You don't really see him catch the ball, which Doug Baldwin was really good at, and get going. I also don't see him break a lot of tackles either. He is a vertical threat with not a lot of yards after the catch today.
Yeah, 3.4 yards after catch. That was tied for 433rd in the nation.
And you know dang well he is not the 400th.
Right.
He played at Alabama.
Right.
He should be at least in the top. Let's just throw it out there. Top 100 at least.
You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
One would think. And again, 4th in average depth of target, 25th in deep yards, and 33rd in deep catches. So he's doing more with the catches than he is just in terms of he's 30. He's only at 11 catches, so to have that many yards off that few catches is in itself the impressive part.
It is impressive, but we're also in this place where just I'm just being critical.
Of course.
Taking you into the take you inside of like when I take my notes of why, and I'm looking because you also when you get these guys in a room and in a building, you got to figure out what are the things that can be deal breakers or things that can happen. And Burton he is a guy who's speed. He Jermaine lacks sometimes getting off the press and separating. He goes as a speed guy, but he's not a speed guy that you need to worry about as far as savvy, creative, dropping, running, stopping on a dime, giving you 10 pennies, and also cashing a check and still go. That's crossing somebody over. He doesn't do that on a consistent level.
Right. So for him to make the transition easier to the NFL, not what kind of offense would help him, but what already needs to be there at the NFL level in terms of teammates.
This just brings me back. I did a breakdown or short on Troy Palmer from Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I said he was a speed guy. People said it was disrespectful, and he's gonna be a star, and I can see him taking over the league. They eased him in, and a lot of his routes he caught were the same way that Nebraska used them.
Right.
Vertical, deep threat, drop the bread in a bread basket him, and keep him on the run. That's what I see Jermaine Burton being, a guy like a Trey Palmer, where a Jalen Hyatt, where you get a guy in space and let him run. He's a gazelle. He's a glider. That's how he runs. Burton, you got the first play coming up. First play, great concentration. Love his concentration. And good hands catch. Going across. I like that. Going up top, catching that football. I like that play because it's a play that's going across the middle. Again, I'm not sure if the quarterback seems to be looking at the running back because he can't see Jermaine behind the referee. That's the story I'm going with. I doubt if that's really the answer. But takes all day to throw it, finally throws it up, attacks the football, comes down. Great hands catch. Now his next play right here, you're just going to get what we call speed. Just focusing on his speed. Goes inside, weaves outside. Nice throw underneath. Look how he goes. He connects it, goes over. So I would probably have taken him one more, but I'm nitpicking. Right. So you don't roll it, because as you can see, he rolls it. The throw now, see how he goes in. It looks like almost like a sail route at the combine. This is the route that they were talking about, where they had him run in here, put your foot in the ground, run, head down, and then look up, not backwards. And so he's looking backwards, and you can see as his body, he slows down even though he's faster than that. Okay, next play. I like this pass because he tracks the ball over his shoulder. Again, another deep route. Good pass, good throw. But you see how you see when I said look up, not back?
Uh-huh.
Because when he looked back, you see he had to turn his head to look up for the football. Small detail. But in that detail, if you look back, it slows you down.
Right.
But if you look up, you still get to keep your momentum and speed. Against Texas A&M, this get picked in the league
Okay.
because the quarterback is throwing the football on time. Watch this. Normally, quarterback is throwing the ball right now.
Right.
And look at how Jermaine comes out of his route and watch how the corner drives on the football or drives on the route because the football wasn't thrown yet. If that ball is thrown and Jermaine is fading and the corner is going down the line, like I said, that's a pick.
Right.
And the reason why it's not a pick now, but I'm telling you, folks, running a quick out, if this is let's say it's a 10-yard out or sticks, or they call it sticks route, where you run 2 yards beyond the sticks, man, you have to come downhill. He placed his foot at the what, 45? Is that the 45?
44, yeah.
44. Watch where he comes out after the route. Guys, that's not a crisp route. In the National Football League, that's a pick.
It was almost like he did like a jump stop to even get into the route. Like he didn't break down like we talk about. He didn't lower his head. It was almost like he jumped to get his 2 feet so he could cut.
It wasn't fluid at all. I like how he attacks the football. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about the finish. Because we've had some guys on here. You know, when you square up the corner like this,
Right.
It's time to go to work. Time to bring your lunch pail. What does he do? Choo-choo. Steps out of bounds.
I don't hate. He said, I did my job. I got the first down. What else do you want from me?
Well, what else do we want from you? Well, I'm telling you, other people are doing it. That's what
For
that's
sure.
What
I mean, yeah.
That's what we want from them.
Corley runs right back in the middle of the field and takes
Yes.
on 4 people like a gladiator.
There's a number of guys running back in the field. My overall thing is this guy I believe a day 2 guy. Yeah. Day 2 may fall into day 3. There are some question marks about him that I'm not going to get into. I'm not about that. But his speed makes him super attractive. The teams who want a guy who has a vertical threat, who could push the cushion of the corner, attack the corner, give me a guy that go across the middle, boom, boom. Everything that I need in that offense, tracks the football, will attack you, knowing you can get 18 or let's just say a air yards, which is 20 plus explosive plays. He is your guy. He's not the all-around route running wide receiver. Can he be that? You have to get him in a building and see, because most really, really fast guys, just like most game speed wide receivers, they're always missing something in their routes.
Sure.
There's 1 or 2 routes that that's not my best route.
Now that was only 5-6 plays, but the thing that stood out to me was he really wasn't facing press coverage at all, and I know that has a lot to do with the speed and it being college.
Yes.
In the NFL, do you think he would see more guys up on him trying to jam him?
Yes. The counter, the speed is to throw off the timing. And if you go in this film, he doesn't overwhelm you with enough tape to say, I can beat press coverage like that, back off me.
Yeah. So that's the thing you'd think he has to learn the most.
He has to learn how to create separation versus press coverage.
Okay.
And in the league, speed doesn't always mean separation, because now you can see it the way they're allowing the corners to play. The corners now have an advantage. It's called the out of bounds, the white line.
Yeah.
And that's why teams are emphasizing stacking, getting back on top, making sure that you don't widen your release too much where you run out of real estate. So Jermaine Burton, wide receiver for Alabama. I think he's a day 2, day 3 guy. It really depends on if some guys are hanging around. He's a guy that can run deep threat. He's a deep threat, vertical guy. You need to understand and put him in situations where he is going to attack the middle of the field with his speed. He will get better at breaking down, sinking his hips, running some of those hitches. But then also now, with a speed guy, when you catch the football, we must and need to know that you're just as dangerous with the ball in your hands after the catch as you are as going a go route or deep third route that pushes the defense. Excellent tracker of the football.
Yeah, and so many teams play zone these days. I don't know if I haven't looked into it. I don't know if there's one division that plays zone more than other divisions, but if he can end up there, that would definitely help with the transition to the next level.
I would imagine they would probably try to get him on special teams somehow, some way. So.
Could that help? I know certain guys, like, just in terms of like fighting through contact.
Where he's getting drafted, it is not going to help, right? They're looking at him. They're looking at him primarily for speed. They're not looking at him to contribute on special teams. Now they will, to his surprise, tell him, "Hey, you need to start working on learning how to catch punts."
Yeah, that kind of speed and production in the SEC. I imagine you're right. Day 2, second round, third round guy. Someone's going to take him.
That is my breakdown on Alabama Crips retired wide receiver Jermaine Burton. I hope you like it. Hit subscribe. Let us know what you think.